So I've owned my practice for a really long time, and over 10 years. And so if you would ask me 5 years ago, or told me 5 years ago, hey, you're going to be all over Facebook and you're going to be doing Infusionsoft campaigns and all, I would have been like, what are you talking about? So the last 3 years have been a journey for us, knowing that our doctors have all been bought up by the hospitals and they're locked down. I actually had a surgeon tell me the other day, wow, I can't believe you've done it and you're still doing it. I can't believe it, because I can't send people to you unless they say, I want to go to Accelerate. And I'm like, sure, so we still have that great standing in the community here in Salisbury. But I started that journey because I opened up another practice and I had to find a way to get ingrained in that community as well. And so we went ahead and did some marketing courses and took some other courses and bought some other marketing products and some kind of done for you type things. And last year I went on this like roller coaster journey. I was closing at my gym. We opened a gym in that other location, and I had it for 2 years, and that was a challenge. And so we had to close that down. We actually sold off the memberships and kind of aligned with another gym, which worked out for us, kind of made lemonade out of lemons. But so with these two practices, I was getting frustrated with the done for you, didn't really have the specific detailed solutions that I needed for my practice, because I think a lot of practices are very, very similar, but we all have nuances because of the locations we're in and our client bases and who we are and how we interact with our community. So I found a lot of strength in NLPT and thought, instead of you hiring a coach and getting one person, opinion, you're getting 9 people with 9, very talented people with their expertises that you can kind of jump into. So that's kind of led me to NLPT.
Yeah, so you've done a couple different programs with us. I mean, we've kind of beta tested you in a lot of stuff, just because you were one of the first people that raised your hand and said, yeah, man, what do you got? So you've done an Infusionsoft program with us. You've done our live mastermind with us. Before deciding to do that with us, what we're kind of going into it, I mean, did you know it was definitely going to work? Did you have some reservations about if it was going to work? Like, how did you end up trusting us enough? And just talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Well, one thing is that I always think you surround yourself with people who are wanting to do what you are wanting to do or have been there and done that. So to see, interact with the 9 founders even before you guys became an LPT and see what you're doing, opening new practices, putting systems in place, having crazy successful workshops, doing, Lee and his captured audience workshops, and Arlen with his Infusionsoft, and he has, and people opening practices and having 50 people coming in the first day for a free screen. So to see those type of, wow moments, that made me more confident to say, let me see what this is about and see if I'm the right fit for what's going on. And so that's kind of why I decided to jump in. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. And, you tend to see a lot of the wins. You don't see the losses. So last December, I did a workshop, and for the first time ever, nobody showed up. And Arlen did one not that long ago, and it was we have this, we should make a t-shirt actually, everybody's been skunked once.
Yeah, you need, that's what you need. You need
yeah, it's like a reality check, because you'll have something that'll go really well and you're like, yeah, maybe I don't have this all figured out. But yeah, for sure, once you've done it enough and you get the reps in, it's like anything else. I mean, if you get the reps in and you find out what works, do more of that. You find out what doesn't work, do less of that. Guess what doesn't work? Workshops for us in December, where we're at. I don't know. Like I said, that's the last time I'm doing a workshop in December, and that
right.
Kind of,
That's right. Yeah.
So you've done a couple of different things with us. What are the biggest takeaways, or the biggest things that you've learned? I mean, you've probably learned a lot of different stuff, but what has had the most impact on your practice that you've learned from us?
So there are a few things. Number one is that you have to take charge of your practice. And so to have 9 people who have been lots and lots of situations, maybe not every situation, but so many. And to say, like, I had to let a bad apple go in my company, and she had been a bad apple for 2 years, and I did everything to try to turn her around instead of just cutting the cord. And instead of being that person, I mean, I was losing money left and right, didn't even know it, because she was my billing person. So to have people say, look, you're going to be fine, you're going to be better off, going with an expert billing company. And so having that confidence to say, just because you had somebody in your fold for 7 years doesn't mean that they're the best for what you are now. They might have been when they started, but times have changed, billing's changed, all those things.
I don't know what it was like for you, but before I met the founders in NLPT, I never even talked much with private practice PTs. I just kind of felt, I don't know if it was like I was scared to share my stuff, which wasn't that great, so I don't know, I was scared of that, but I just didn't run into situations. Technology has improved, so we can do a lot of this stuff online, so that helps a ton too. But I just had this feeling of being alone and just trying to make these decisions, trying to make the best decisions I could. But what was great was having other people look at my practice and be like, man, you need to fire that person. They're not that bad. And no, they're bad. This is what's going on. And it's almost like taking some of the decision making off of your plate. Somebody else looks at your practice and you need to fire this person. We're done. When are you gonna fire him? I'll fire him next month. We had this with Kevin when we first met. Kevin. He's like, yeah, I'll fire him eventually. And no, this is when you're gonna fire him. Well, it's always to the end of the month. And no, what, on Friday, you're gonna fire him on Friday, right? He says, yeah, I'll fire him on Friday. All right, when you fire him on Friday, then you're gonna give me a call and tell me that you fired him, right? And I don't know if Kevin would have done that if there wasn't that accountability. And that's the thing that's helpful with a mastermind. There's lots of things that are helpful with a mastermind, but I think that is having someone else look at your practice is going to help you out and pick out stuff that maybe you don't see or maybe you don't want to see because there's going to be some short-term pain. Then I think that's one of the cool things that the mastermind brings to us. So let's talk about 2019. So we did some stuff in Infusionsoft. We did the live mastermind event down in Orlando. We've got you on your 90-day plans. What are your goals for 2019?
Sure. My goals for 2019 are actually to get back to our patient visit numbers that we had in 2017. 2017 was a stellar year for us. We were kind of firing on all cylinders, and the marketing roller coaster that were on got rolling then. But we just don't want to be on a roller coaster anymore. And we got off that roller coaster. So our goals are to get our visits up. We actually made more money this last year in 2018 with about 1,500 less visits. Hence why I had to let my biller go. So we collected a lot of back payments, but our revenue's up 17% per person. So there's not a lot you have to do except for get your visit counts back to normal, and you're going to make even more money. So our goal for the next year is to get back to about 800 visits a month, 200 visits a week or so, and keep rolling with that. And then our consulting business, our industrial consulting business, is expanding, and we're hoping to be in about, I'd say, 10 to 12 locations by next December as well, there across the country. So those are our two really big hairy goals for the year, and then hopefully having good enough systems in place where we're going to consider expanding south of us to a new location.
Okay, so you have two businesses, which actually is not that uncommon. We talked to a lot of practice owners that are doing PT and then kind of doing something. We're all doing that. So
sure.
What do you have to put in place in order to do that? Some people would say, man, I'm having a hard enough time making my practice work. How do I then work? And for everybody that doesn't know, that's really your passion. You want to do this industrial health stuff, which is really cool stuff that we're using in our practice. So what has to happen for you to have a practice that you can take time away from and work on stuff that, at this point in your career, you're more passionate about?
Right. So the biggest thing, and this is why NLPT, I think, is delivered hands down to me, is that I can't do everything, that I have to have my leaders in place, and they can't be leaders that are just in name. They actually have to lead. So I truly turned over my clinics to my two clinical directors, and they are in charge, and they are responsible for everything in those practices. They have to deal with their employees. They need to make sure patients are happy. Salisbury, unfortunately, my clinic director there, everybody knows me. So I know if something goes wrong for my patients, but, you know, I had to turn it over to them to be able to build and expand and to reach out and do the marketing portion of this thing. And I do have a marketing director, but that's more of a name than it is. She doesn't lead. So I've been getting to focus on that, and that's important. And then it just frees me up to be able to do our consulting work and to see how we can help employees and employers and reduce healthcare costs, because they've just gotten out of control with it. And, as you and I know, it's not the providers that are getting paid more. Yeah. So anything we can do to help employers save some money and keep employees well, and just to focus on that portion too, and have two separate businesses and two separate models that we're growing.
Yeah. So I could kind of see it on your face, but talk about what it felt like. Like, for most private practice owners, they typically have a hard time giving up control. So, but once you do it, I've never talked to a private practice owner that kind of was able to put people in place, put structures in place, and be like, you know what, I'm just going to go back into the business and dive back in. I've never seen it. So what did it feel like before, when you weren't able to kind of step away because everything kind of depended on you, versus now where you're empowering other people to do all the stuff that you used to do?
Sure. So, let's just take this last month. So I fired myself from all clinical practice. I will not fill in. I will not
Woo!
Yay! Right. The day before Thanksgiving was my last day of work. And I've retired before. I've retired before for a little bit, but never been able to stay out. So, I told everybody, I said, I'm not retiring. I'm quitting. So good luck, but we have enough staff in place. We're actually just slightly overstaffed but we have a PRN person. So that helps us a lot to kind of weather the storm of a small ebb and flow of patient care. So, but that's right. You have to say, I can't be in charge of this anymore. And it's actually really freeing to know that you gave that to somebody else, and they might F it up. I mean, they might F it up bad. Yeah. But if you have the system in place and you have a little bit of oversight looking at numbers, if you have metrics in place, another great thing that NLPT has delivered on, I can't say how important Chuck was to me to say, this is how I do my bonusing structure. These are the metrics that I got that from the mastermind. And I came home and essentially my November, December was working on how to get reporting to be easy for my staff, and put that in place last week. And so next week will be their first, January week 1 numbers that they'll be accountable for and bonused on. And so to know that I'm still looking at the numbers, and, whether that's a callous way to look at a business, it's a business, and we gotta be productive, and everybody's got to play their role, and focusing on our team and to say, this is a team. We can't do it. I can't do it by myself anymore. It's too big to be just me. So, all those things are really exciting.
Yeah. So there's two things you said in there. And one of them was like, hey, they might screw it up. So the tendency is to be, you see somebody screw up is what? Like, you jump in there and fix it. So you have to consider, like, when you remove yourself from treatment, you might not be as profitable. You're going to have to pay a tuition for this thing to kind of, run. I don't think it ever runs on its own, but to run without so much of your involvement. You have to be okay with people making some mistakes, because that's, how did we learn? Like, we just screwed up a bunch, and then the 12th time we tried something, it worked. Like, oh yeah, we should do that. So I think that's really powerful. And the other thing that I hear you saying is really giving that control to the people in your business is like so cool. Like, so when they've seen you do all this stuff for, however long they've been working with you, and then it's their responsibility to do it, to watch people in your organization step up and like take control of that. And then, and I know you're going to say this, they'll do it better than you did it.
Oh, yeah.
When you see somebody do something and it's like, holy crap, I would have never done it that well. Yeah. But if I'd have tried to do it myself, you would have never had that opportunity. And then those are the people that, I got people that they're not going anywhere. Like, they're not looking for other jobs. They're not trying to find another, $4 an hour. They're like, this is the best place to be, because that employee satisfaction and just being happy where you're at. Like, when you have, and it takes a while too, like sometimes you're going through, if you go through this process, like really go through it, I would say about 50% of the people that you have on your team right now will stay, and then the other 50% are going to go. Just because they won't like the changes that they have to go through, and they're just not the right person. And you'll have some turnover, and that's like that's short term, that's painful, but long term, it is like the team we have now is like I would rehire every single one of them, and that's how you can evaluate stuff. It's like, would I rehire you today for your job? And when you get to people to that spot, because you've found the right people and you've given them, the leeway to make some mistakes and know that's going to cost you some money. But now when that stuff runs on your own, and then you walk into a clinic and they're like, what is she doing here? Like, shouldn't she?
Yeah. I like when people introduce themselves to me. Like if I don't know them, my patients, they're like, oh, who are you? And I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, I thought you retired. I haven't seen you in a while. So. I mean, as we go, I mean, all of us are, as physical therapists, I think in the beginning, focus 100% on our patients. Like we're just trying to put out a quality product. But now as I'm kind of, retiring from that and moving on, for me, I'm really looking for building opportunities for other employees, like other people that have been working for me, and selling them parts of the practice or bonusing them or whatever that looks like to you. Just giving them that responsibility has just been really cool to watch. And I feel like, you feel the same way.
Oh, totally. It's neat to watch people grow and to know that you've had a part in helping them, even when they leave. Like I just had a front office person leave because she's going to nursing school, and she's stuck around for about 3 semesters, but now she needs to get a CNA job to build up her resume, and she just left them out. And to know that she's going to go on, but has learned so much from the customer service aspect, and knowing that it's still a service job. My little brother gets mad at his when he was working, he's probably about 30 years old, still working in the restaurant industry. And he's like, these people, I'm like, look, it's all service. You got to smile and help people,
Yeah. Then people
don't care.
Yeah. The people that leave, like our aide or tech position, a lot of people call it, that position is designed for turnover. It's usually a kid that is, got a 4-year degree, trying to do something else in healthcare. And when you can see that, it's almost like, I consider it like the college of Robin's rehabilitation. So it's like,
that's right. Yeah, exactly.
For a while, like I try to teach as much as I could. And then when they graduate, it's like, wow, you're like really proud of that. Like I've got people that have gone on to be physicians and nurses and physical therapists, of course, and work in all different industries. But it's cool when someone leaves to actually be happy when they leave.
Yeah.
That's just a really great place to be.
Yeah.
So if you were talking to somebody and they asked you, they said, hey, I don't know about these NLPT guys, like what has been your experience, or I don't know, I'm trying to do like the mastermind that they're putting together, like what would you say to that person?
So I wouldn't hesitate, because again, I'm going to go back to that you have 9 people who have expertise in lots of different things and have been in every situation, and all 9 of you you're still growing your practices too, and expanding and opening clinics. And I mean, I always come back to Frank Garza. Like when I met Frank Garza, like he was closing his business, and now he's opening up like a second location. So that's our new location. But it's just amazing to see that transformation, and to have those opportunities to learn from each other and grow from each other, and to grow from more people, not just the NLPT founders, but from other people who want to be on that same path. I think that this is kind of a unique group in that way, that it's not just marketing, it's not just practice management, it's not just this. It's kind of custom. Hold your hand. We have there's a solution out there for you. Robbie got on a phone call with me yesterday to help me. I had to let my Facebook guy go for not delivering, and so he consultant. So he said, oh yeah, let me look at this, let me look at that, and let's figure this out to get this running better. So it's really cool to know that you can reach, like, here's Robbie's expertise, I can reach out to him. Here's Travis's expertise, I can reach out to him. Here's so to have that and have other people. I've met some really cool people already who want to grow their, like, it's not just I want to survive in this crazy world of healthcare that's all segmented. It's how do I thrive and how do I grow and and have a huge impact.
Yeah. So, the only thing that I would add to that is it's been really cool for us to work with you guys. As much enjoyment as you guys get out of it, because it's having a huge impact in your practice. and a huge impact in your community. I mean, you guys are going back to your practices and like the stuff that physical therapists can do. Like, we're a little biased, but I think we're pretty amazing people.
Yeah.
What we can give people. So that's been really cool. But in working with you guys, which has been really easy for us and great, is you're not as far away as you think. I think a lot of people think like, oh my God, I go to work and I've got all these fires that are going on around me. There's no way to fix this. There's really, usually you're not that far away. There's only like one or two things that if we really focused on these things, that it would really help your practice out. And seeing that is really difficult when you're in your own practice and you're looking at it every day. It's just hard to see for us too, by the way. Like whenever we have problems, I pull up my clinical analysis form and I'm like, hey, Arlen, can you look at this? Because something's not working. Like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, like this and this. Like, oh man, I just didn't see that. So I think that's been really helpful too. So I'll let you get back. I know you've got a kid that has just gone through a 6-pack of soda. So
Probably maybe two, yeah. They're going to Mimi's tonight. We're having date night tonight, so they're going to grandma's. So
nice. Where are you going tonight?
Get them out here. We're heading out to Greensboro to this fancy schmancy restaurant called White and Wood. So kind of our last hurrah before baby number 3. Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, Delaine, thanks for getting on the call with me, and I'll see you soon.
Bye, Travis.